Five.
Harrowings podcast, Intrepid Editor Press.
Good morning or afternoon. Good
And you
Sunday.
were saying before I so rudely interrupted.
Um, I just in reading the things that you write, it uncovers things for me to think about, to maybe even write about myself or reflect upon at least. Um, and I really appreciate the community you've been building here with Harrowings and your publication, the writings that you make and stuff like that. And like I said, I don't always get it, at least on first pass. And I'm the first to admit I've gone back to them to kind of unravel things a little bit. What was it that he said? Um,
I don't
and
need
I
to
think,
on the first pass often because sometimes I'm taking the AI slop that I've fed my stuff into and then had it spit back out.
mhm,
And then I'll just paste it in like I did today towards the end. There's this
mhm,
block where it starts to talk about what Harrowings is all about, and
mhm,
how it's the alchemy of awakening. And
mhm,
it mixes in the Gurdjieff work, you
mhm,
know, good old GI Gurdjieff. Um, and what a character, right? And now
yeah,
he's been gone since 1949, but keeping the dead alive is so important.
yeah, yeah,
As a person of integrity, I think
mhm,
of myself as trying to be not only a good ancestor, but a good descendant. And
right,
I'm doing the 700-year increments this morning a little bit, and I started
right,
1326, and then we'll just jump 50 years at a time.
mhm,
What's happening in the world in 1526? So I went and looked it
mhm,
up.
mhm.
Apparently, France entered into a alliance with Suleiman the Magnificent of the Ottoman Empire. I had no
Hmm,
idea.
hmm.
Who would know that?
Yeah,
This
yeah,
500 years ago today.
yeah,
So, and we've got some
yeah.
folks joining us. I want to acknowledge them. Anne, IKN, Delphine, 1, no, 10,
10,
Ina 10,
and
and
Barbara
Barbara
DeWitt.
DeWitt is here. So
Alright.
thanks for joining. And if you do have questions, if you want to tell us who you are, where you are, what you are, you know, how you are. I like to use those things. Those were classic off of the Skull and Roses album when they start
Mhm,
reaching out to the deadheads.
mhm.
Like that from you guys. Do we have sort of a connection there after all? You always telling me to keep my dauber up.
Yeah.
Is that a George Harrison shirt too you're wearing?
Yes, it's George Harrison week here in my little belief system. See, it's
Is it?
living yeah, his birthday is, Wednesday, you
When's
know?
he coming?
Yeah, yeah, this next Wednesday, the 25th.
The 25th of February. Wow.
Yeah, Pisces, and, he's
How
my
old is
favorite Beatle, this is my favorite album, so, it's
what
it's
album is that?
it's, Living in the Material World.
Okay, I don't even
Yeah.
know that one.
Oh, it's
What year did they do it?
1973, I got it for my 12th birthday, and
Yeah, that dates
it's
you.
seminal album in my life. I mean, it formed everything from my taste in music to my view of life and spirituality and living in the material world. Just that concept alone when I was 12, and I've carried that water ever since. Um,
Okay, tell me more about that. You
well,
that's seminal. I love it. So
yeah, yeah, the idea of living in a material world is we're all born into this material world, and while we're here, we kind of get worn out by the material world, you
right.
know. There's a line in the song, our senses are never gratified, only swelling like a tide. And I mean, isn't that that was 50 years ago. He's so spot on for today. Everything is built about consumerism and, you know,
Right.
e
My
everything,
friend
right?
Odette had a line in a song that she wrote called "Childish Boudity," in which
Uh-huh.
bullets fly from land to land as we constantly need more than more,
Right,
swelling like the tide.
right, right.
I'm
You
just
know, and then there are other songs on there. I mean, Living in the Material World, the title cut was the first one to hook me, but, Give Me Love is off that album, you
oh,
know,
I love
and
that one.
I do too. That's
Yeah.
uh,
I play it frequently on, pushing it out on my Facebook, to
yeah,
have other people listen to it because, honestly, give me peace on earth, please.
yeah, and, there's another song on there called "The Light That Lighted the World," which is about, you know, you change through life. People, some people have said, that I've changed, how I'm not what I was, how it really is a shame, and I kind of see that in my own experience in life as I grew up. I mean, I heard it when I was 12 and didn't quite get it, but by the time I was 16 and a different person, I was getting it a little bit better. By the time I was 20, I'm understanding it more. But the idea that no matter how you change in your perception, other people's perception, you're still the one inside. You're still the light that lights your world. And that lantern idea is something I've imbued in my stuff. It's kind of why I believe in a quieter voice is more powerful than shouting power to the people or give peace a chance. Those are effective, true, but give me love is a little bit more subtle. It's a little more, a little more soul to it. Um, I don't know. It's my favorite album, so that's why I'm gonna groove on it all day today. I don't know.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. There's a thing I was just gonna try to look up here,
Mhm.
down, that's called "All You Need Is George." That's
Uh-huh.
traveling touring right now.
Right.
I'm looking forward to seeing that at the Hamilton Live.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I've got George's, All Things Must Pass, like,
Mhm.
deluxe anniversary set that this came out
Mhm.
about, well, I don't know, 4 years ago, was it maybe? Maybe
Yeah, I think so.
maybe right before the pandemic or so.
Yeah, that's about
Anyway, I'm just happy to be, still, exchanging gases with the atmosphere myself. George was taken far too young
Mhm.
by cancer, as we
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
and, we're lucky to still be in the game. You're holding up okay today?
Actually, I'm doing better today than I have the last 3 days.
What's
Um
been happening?
yeah, I had, a biopsy on my kidney. They took 5 little chunks out of my right kidney, and that was Thursday, and Thursday, I was okay, but I was full of anesthetic and or anesthesia and, you know, um, went home and slept and everything, but I woke up Friday and it was hurting. Yesterday, it was awful. I mean, we celebrated our grandson's 4th birthday here at the house, and I had to spend half the party just horizontal in bed just because that's the only way that my flank would,
Yeah,
settle down,
yep,
you know?
of course.
Um, Today I woke up and I feel great. I went for a walk with the dog. I haven't been able to do that in days, still not back to doing my stretching and yoga stuff just because it the muscles down there, I don't wanna agitate anything. There's a couple of little stitches there from where the incision was, so,
Gotcha.
and I don't have to worry about that. There's a bandage and it dissolves, so I don't even have to go get them out, but,
So when do you get the results of it?
uh, I'll hear about it Monday, Tuesday from the nephrologist, and then I have an appointment the next week after that with her,
And what do
and
you think's happening?
it's really just a confirmation. I've got a multiple lupus diagnosis. I
Right,
mean, I've got,
we do about that.
I won the lottery on lupus, and, so it's more of a confirmation that I'm starting to get activity in my, nephrotic system,
Right.
which
Inflammations.
yeah, inflammation, my protein levels are skyrocketing, my creatine levels are fine, everything is good except for the protein.
Mhm.
So, catching it kinda early is what we're doing.
Good,
Um,
good.
Started me on a medication, a baby dose of this medication to kinda protect the kidneys.
Good.
Um, it's probably the most well, it it's a toss-up between the kidneys and the, central nervous system. Which one is more dangerous, which one is gonna kill you sooner, basically, is
Oh,
they're
there's
both gonna kill you, but which one's
a
gonna
lot
come
of in
quicker? Yeah,
reactions there. Yeah.
yeah,
Mm. Man.
and I've already had, interventions for the CNS, the central nervous system,
Mm.
um, but and they manage that with, like, this, caudral epidural thing that I go for every 8 or 9 months, and I get an injection in my back. They do a lumbar punch, to take a little bit of fluids out to monitor what my T cells or whatever are doing, and it seems to be stable. Um, but now the kidneys are flaring up, so we're trying to get ahead of that and stabilize it before, I'm gonna start needing whatever transfusions or that kind of thing. That one is pretty dangerous because it's the filtering system between that and then the liver gets affected by it, the bladder gets affected, like all the plumbing stuff.
Yeah, if you got toxins running around your bloodstream,
Right.
yeah,
So,
bulimia type of thing.
um, but, otherwise I'm in really good shape for this vintage, I mean, I
I know, yeah.
yeah,
Good. I have good genetics, I'm really lucky. I've got a few little things that are wrong with me, but they're benign,
Mhm,
but and they're kind of, like, annoying at times,
mhm,
but when it comes down to it, I found out that I have, like, lots of cysts in my kidneys.
mm,
And I thought I might have polycystic kidney disease, but that usually comes with high blood pressure, and I don't have that. So I went
mhm,
and got a genetic test, actually. I
mhm,
can do that. And, the doctors are like, "In the future, don't do it this way, you know?
mhm,
Don't book
mhm,
yourself for an examination that we don't think you need," type of thing.
mhm,
And I managed
mhm,
to get it, to get confirmation that I don't have polycystic kidney disease, which is genetic.
mhm,
Um, but I did the reason I got that was because I got a complete, like, workup when I was thinking of delivering, 2/3 of my liver to my cousin,
mhm,
and, I was screened out of
mhm.
contention. Now they don't speak to me anymore.
Aw.
Apparently I don't know much about me as a person.
Yeah,
It's very bizarre, I didn't know that about my family.
yeah.
And I've actually had feelings about family lately, just the isolation I have, the very little contact I have with my sister, who is taking care of my mother. I
Mhm,
went down yesterday and had lunch with mom. When I got back, she asked me if I had taken her to Second Street or not, and I had switched it up. I'd taken her over for fried oysters at Paul's Deli because she used to like those. It
mhm,
didn't seem to be a hit, though. So,
mm,
I'm gonna have to probably switch back to Second Street on March.
mhm.
Her birthday month, actually. She's gonna be 87.
Wow, bless her.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah.
That's heartening. I've got something to look forward to, sort of. I mean, I'm not sure. The previews are not really great that my
Mhm,
father and mother both gave me, but the
mhm,
dad dying at 91, mom's now at 87, and
mhm,
mom's cognitively declined, but dad's bodily declined,
mhm,
now completely, and, he's
mhm,
now in a little box underneath the little grassy cross at the United
mhm,
Methodist Church. I don't know, man. It's a
mhm.
temp job, this life.
Yeah, it is, it is, you
Like, keep
know?
the jobber up.
Yeah.
So you have just launched a new that what we really should be talking about, with our guests here too, that we don't have a whole lot of them breaking down our door today, but maybe they'll catch it later. You've got a new Long Wave Home episode that dropped yesterday,
Yes, yes, it's called, A Kerfuffle, A Kindness, and a Kite, and it's about integrity.
and it's
Right,
about integrity. Well,
right.
take us there. Give us a
Yeah.
little, like, summary preview. Why a kerfuffle, by the way?
Well, when you listen to the episode, that those are the names of the 3 different scenes that are
Okay,
in there,
great.
okay? And, the kerfuffle is something that happens in, our imaginary town, which is a sort of an amalgamation of several of the towns here in Nevada County, California. Um, and Arturo Caliente is the proprietor there, and he's having a discussion, a disagreement almost, with a woman who bought a light switch, and it turns out it isn't the right light switch. It's not the one her girlfriends had, and she hired an electrician to come out, and he said, "This isn't right," and she's like, "Why don't you have this?" And he's like, "Well, I only carry what people need. I'm not Home Depot, I don't have the latest trends. I have the things that work every time, and some of them are older, and that's the kerfuffle. It's not a big deal. It's not some Karen giving him a hard time. It's somebody who's trying to negotiate with him her version of what integrity looks like and his version of what integrity looks like, and they kinda collide, and our narrator through it just sorta witnesses it. He's observing it, but
Mhm.
he doesn't feel the need to audition his opinion and jump in and say, "Well, go to Home Depot, lady," or something like that. It's just let it happen, and that in doing that, he's also demonstrating integrity. He doesn't have a horse in that race. He doesn't have a pony in that race. He just observes, and so that's the kerfuffle. Um, and I love the word kerfuffle.
I
It
like it
isn't
too.
yeah, it isn't used enough,
It's actually my whole state. I mean, just look behind me.
Yeah, yeah, look at that kerfuffle you've got there, man. Look at mine. I mean,
Yours is nice. Gotta
yeah,
admit, I love the tapestry. You
thank
ought
you.
to hang my tapestry over there. I've got one somewhere. Well, there it is. Actually, I
Mm,
got it from, like, some fundraiser that was going on for the, free clinic
mm.
at, San
San
Francisco.
Francisco, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
know the
know the
free
frequent
clinic?
oh, yeah. Oh,
Right.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was a nice thing to do, so I gave them,
Yeah.
too much money. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
I could really use that now.
Yeah.
Maybe I can get a fundraiser for me.
Mine is gifted to me. I believe my brother gave this to us years ago,
Mm,
I I've stopped buying merchandise and stuff. Everybody knows I love the Dead. Everybody knows I'm into the Beatles,
right.
and that's their default for, "Oh, you need a gift for D. Philip? Buy something Beatles, buy something Dead and give it to him," and I'll love it. So I've stopped buying
Hollywood,
it for myself,
yeah. Get 'em to give it to you.
Yeah, exactly,
That's
exactly.
I like that
Yeah,
because I have actually got to stop collecting, obviously, and
yeah.
I'm thinking about jettisoning my collection. But we've got now a kindness
Mhm.
about in the
Okay, well,
in the
that scene is, our narrator, it goes to after he leaves Caliente's, he goes over to the local, like, general store, and, as he's parking his VW, his '73 VW Squareback, he, witnesses a kid who's just kinda hanging out, watches an old lady go into the store, and her wallet slips out. The kid grabs the wallet, and
right.
the narrator witnesses, but then the kid sees the narrator looking at him, tucks it in his pocket and takes off. And the narrator's like, "What do I do? Do I call the cops? Do I go after him? Do I tell the lady?" And he's debating all this as he's shopping and keeping an eye on the lady. And then he loses sight of her only to find her right there in front of him in line.
Uh-huh.
So he decides, she's looking for his wallet, and, he realizes she doesn't know that she just lost it, that some
That's
kid just ran off with it. So he decides, instead of telling her what happened, he just offers to pay for her, a
oh, that's
kindness.
sweet.
Yeah. But, is it the right answer or is it the easy answer? You know? Uh,
Well, that seemed like an expedient answer.
yeah, it was, what happened in the moment and you know, moved the situation forward, and he comes off as being kind, even though maybe it was a little morally questionable.
Mhm.
You know, I saw the kid take it. Here's $20, you know, but what are the cops gonna do? Some punk runs off. He didn't get a good look at him. He can't give him they're not gonna do anything, and he's got other things to do. She's got other things to do. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's the kindness. And then the kite is a dream sequence. I shouldn't say that because we actually try to present it like it's actually happening, but and it's about he
Everybody
witnesses.
forget what it was just said.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but
He said
it in that one, it's him and his own conscious
yes.
sort of debating what's going on,
Mm,
and his conscious sort of checks out. He doesn't understand why, but the conscious starts doing this Lewis Carroll Jabberwocky kinda, you know, strange, I am the walrus kind of talking, and he witnesses a little girl get carried off by a giant box kite, and she's floating over the countryside, and he's the only one that sees it, so he's gotta run and save the girl, save the world, and, you know, until he realizes at the end as he's jumping over the Yuba River, "I can't jump over the Yuba River," and he wakes up on the park bench where he was, where he first saw the little girl, only to go a few minutes later and actually stop a little girl from walking in front of a car that's zipping through the parking lot, you know, and does the right thing, like,
Mhm.
impulsively, and, so the dream is sort of a practice for that that happens in real life, it tunes
Right.
him up,
Premonition.
and that's the kite scene. So and then all of them are strung together by a narrator who is having conversations with himself in his head.
Yeah, I caught that. Actually, I've
Yeah,
listened to a good bit of it.
yeah, you know, um, and that's my homage to one of my heroes, Ken Nordine. He's
Ken
a very
Nordine, yes.
yes,
I have
he's
some
one
recordings of his.
I've met him a couple of times. Actually, I tried to hire him once,
Oh, yeah?
and yeah, when he found out who the agency was that I was working with, he was
Right.
like, "I'd never work for those motherfucker," He was like
Who
and he says it in that deep voice that he's got. I mean, he sounded on the phone
does
just like he did on the radio, that, Ken Nordine, very deep voice, and
it's
it,
deep.
yeah, yeah, it was fun, you know, but, he turned down the gig, so I had to hire somebody to sound like Ken Nordine for me,
Oh,
um,
well, I guess that can be done. People impersonate.
yeah, I was just I didn't say Ken. I think I told
I
you I want a
harvest.
low baritone voice, and kinda like that guy who says, "In a world," like in the advanced things for films, that
Yeah,
guy's voice, it's that tone that I look for, and that was the United Airlines gig that I did,
okay.
so, yeah, but
I think you're
United Airlines actually kinda went that way anyways. They ended up hiring Gene Hackman to be the narrator, so and you can't get a better voice than Gene Hackman, so kudos to them,
yes, indeed.
yeah.
I think our canine friend just took a position behind you.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
He's my sidekick.
Hello.
Yeah, that's Mozzie. "Hey,
I'm
buddy.
Ozzy.
Wanna say hi?"
Hello.
He's my one-eye rat dog.
They're the best kind.
Yeah, he is. That was Did you ever hear the story of, Teddy Roosevelt and the rat dog? How they
No,
got there?
what up?
Yeah, rat terriers. When Roosevelt came to got into the White House, there was it's built on a swamp, of course.
Yeah.
It was infested with rats. So he brought in a half a dozen of these dogs who ran amok throughout the White House in the lawn,
Mhm.
catching rats,
Yep.
you know, which I thought, "Oh, we need that now. Mozzie, come on, I got a job for you," you know? But he's a farm dog, and, he doesn't really catch the rats. He kind of outs them, and then we have a cat that's really good at catching them. So kinda have that, that little circle of life thing happening,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Let nature take care of itself sorta attitude.
Well, that's something to think about too. We're so easily separated from nature,
Mhm.
and it's not good for us.
Mm-mm.
You know? So, bringing it back to integrity,
Uh-huh.
talk to me more about what the main thrust is about integrity for you, or main thrusts. They can be multiple.
I learned that integrity
Mhm.
is not really something that we possess as it is something that we practice.
Okay.
Integrity is a movement. It's a verb more than it is a noun.
Okay.
It's how of course, it's what we do when nobody is there. It's what we do when the chairs are empty. And everybody kind of understands that, but it's a little bit more. It doesn't sell, it doesn't trend, it's slow. So it kind of gets buried in the minutia of stuff that's out there, you
Yeah.
know, and even though it's getting stripped right before our very eyes on the big scale of things, it remains sort of a scaffold that keeps us human. You and me, for example, um,
Being real with each other.
right. I don't know if I mentioned I know I did, I think in one of my articles
Mhm.
that, we need to find a place to relocate, that the people that we're renting from they changed their mind, they're not renewing the lease in June, as we
Wow.
talked about,
Oh,
and, we actually found out by accident, so it gave us a little more time to find a place. They weren't planning on telling us until, March, April when they get here. but it happens, whatever.
That'd be a
Speaking of
little
integrity.
shocking, right? Well, at least
Eh,
you
so we've been looking, we finally found a place, and I went to meet the guy the other day and take a look, and it's perfect for us. It fits our budget. It has just about everything we need to, we've got a multi-generational family thing going on. I mean, there's my wife and I, our daughter, her son, they live with us, and then Kelly's father, who's early 80s, is wants to move out here as opposed to going to, an assisted living place.
that would be lovely.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah, and that's what we just did for my mom, and we
right.
we, you know,
We
wanna
discussed
give him the same thing, right? Um, so we went and met the guy. He and I got along really well and everything. I offered him 3,500 bucks for the deposit right there on the spot Friday, because we've had 2 houses that we liked.
out. Yeah.
Right, and then, I called back, "Okay, we're interested." "Oh, sorry, I rented it." You know, it's like, so this guy says, "Well, I really wanna take your money," but he had 2 other appointment or 3 other appointments coming up, 2 on the weekend and 1 that day on Friday, and he just felt obliged to follow through. He's not running the ad anymore, he won't make any new appointments, but he just, so we agreed to he asked me to, go ahead and send him our financials and all the stuff that you need, the
Mm.
application stuff, and he'll get into it, and he'll make a decision on Monday. So,
Integrity.
yeah, and to me, that was a green flag. That was like, this dude has integrity. I can abide by that,
You
you
can
know?
trust him there, and, hopefully it'll fall in your favor.
Yeah, and I kept trying to dangle, like, "I've got a full recording studio. I've got this. I've got" you know?
Yes, you
Uh,
did.
yeah, so, y trying to sweeten the pot, as it were, but I don't think I needed to. I think he liked us as well.
Good. Well, I
So
don't see anything not to like so far. I mean,
well,
it's one of the things about my guests. I tend to just be damn lucky with it, or else everybody's just so damn likable.
yeah. Yeah, well, of course, in all those situations, whether it's on your show or meeting somebody that we wanna rent a place, you put your best foot forward, don't you? You don't wanna be seen as a jerk, and so, we we behave it and with, our guardrails on sometimes,
You're giving me
but
an off ramp there. Okay, go ahead.
y well, I mean,
I've
everybody
actually
does.
had
I
some
mean
friction lately with human beings that I just, I've been talking about it actually in my
mhm,
writing. You may have read
mhm,
about it,
mhm,
and I'm like, life is literally short, and am I really gonna spend my cycles on this? Yes,
mhm,
I am.
mhm. Well, you brought up family. Sometimes you don't have a choice, do you? Because of that family connection, I mean, I have, like a lot of guys, I have dad issues,
Mm,
and I put a lot of them to bed years ago, but they still linger.
yeah.
My dad is still alive. He's gonna be 91 on his next birthday,
Uh-huh.
and he lives in Chicagoland where my brother lives. And so my brother is taking care of dad, kinda like I was taking care of mom, but not living with I mean, he's moving my dad to, like, an assisted living place
Mhm.
that's just down the road, and then my brother's moving into my dad's condo, so we don't have to he doesn't have to worry about selling it right now, And, giving dad the option, if things don't work out, you don't like it there, you can always come back and live at your place. It'll still be here. Your
Yeah.
stuff will still be here. Um, but, for me, I'm, very grateful that I'm 2,000 miles away and I don't have to deal with him so intensely every day or every few days like my brother is.
Yeah, and that's
Um,
similar to me.
it keeps the peace between me and my dad. I mean, the last thing I want is to stir up old wounds, angers, traumas growing up at
Yes.
this point in life. I don't wanna I don't want that negative stuff when dad goes. I'd like to just I'm already at peace with it
I forgot,
because, you know
how lucky I was that I didn't have anything like that with my father, really. Yeah,
Mm,
after, like, probably graduate school or so, and
right.
I'd left some wreckage behind me that he tended to, like a house that I had from my first marriage.
Mhm,
Um We rented that for years, and while I was over in Denmark, we sold it. But when I came
Mhm,
back to Denmark, lived in with my folks for a bit of time, and
mhm,
there's a little tiny bit of friction there, but it's very minor. And then after that, I've been up here in the DC metro area, not too far away, but far enough away,
mhm,
and I've been able to be there for them when they needed me. Um,
mhm,
I wish I had been there more in some ways because I
mhm,
could have been. I could have been there more. I found it very difficult to be around my mother as she declined cognitively, and it became
mhm,
more and more frustrating as I didn't
mhm,
really understand the gravity.
mhm,
It swept a lot under the rug.
mhm.
Really good at that in my family, man. We can ostrich with the best of them. Stick that head in the sand,
Yeah,
and as long
yeah,
as you don't pull it out,
everything's fine.
yeah, just
Mhm,
don't pull the head out. Oh. My wife tells me my head is elsewhere
mhm.
at times.
Yeah, yeah,
Lately, at my expense, perhaps, but I don't mind laughing at myself, and I think that's a big part of it. My father used to wake himself up from dreams in which he'd tell himself jokes, and he'd wake himself up laughing at them.
mhm.
I think that shows a good spirit.
That
Whatever.
is, that's healthy.
And, I don't know if he had a choice in the matter, really. That's how its brain operated.
Mhm,
And, my mother, it's gentle, it's
mhm,
slow. I mean, she seems to be very genuinely appreciative of any visit she gets,
mhm,
and I'm, down there once a month.
mhm,
My sister's got the burden, and my sister's got the guilt, I suppose, as well, she tells me. Stress,
mhm,
and I process stress in a different way.
mhm,
And I guess I also tend to just I think the deal is, if I got any message at all in what I'm saying, as a person of integrity, I hope,
mhm,
is to accept everybody just the way they are, do the Mister Rogers method, you know?
mhm, mhm.
And I spent a lot of time in Mister Rogers' neighborhood, literally, so I
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah, yeah. It's,
Mm.
ah, there was a man with integrity for sure.
He was what he was. It's kinda
Yeah,
like my guru, Wavy Gravy, who I like
mhm.
put
Love
forward
wavy.
all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he's a guy of
Yeah.
integrity as well.
Yeah, he is.
Doobie doobie do,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
Take
yeah,
action, and we just be for a while.
yeah, yeah.
And I've been being for quite some time, but I think I'm gonna have to do something.
Mhm.
Don't just
Yeah.
sit there, don't just sit there, do something, they like to say in
Mhm,
our society. I have this friend in Borneo who's a Buddhist Yorkshireman.
mhm,
He says, "Don't just do something, sit there."
mhm,
I've gotten that pretty down. Yeah, there are limits, I suppose. So far, I haven't hit them, but I'm
mhm,
doing a lot of sitting here in my bunker, contemplating the passing show, wondering, "What in the heck are we doing? And how can I inspire others to do something about it?"
mhm.
What do you think? Got anything?
I don't know. The way I kinda go about things is I look at what's being said, what's going on, and there are a lot of people who are shouting at the sky, chickens with their heads cut off, the sky is falling kinda thing, and I see my place as being more like that rooster that just kinda crows once a day in a slow, methodical sort of way and makes a comment and then just lets it be. I like to be more of a I think in all the noise that we've got and all the motion that we've got, we need something that's kinda slower, something that makes you stop and listen and think, you know? It isn't all jump cuts and 30-second reels and everything in this format, we like the wide shots too, that's cinematography of life. When we're looking at things on a screen, I'm looking at things like this, and it's like, I actually get more interested in what's behind that person than what they're saying or what they look like,
Well, that's why I
it
have lots of stuff behind me.
yeah, and I mean, same thing here. I have, little trinkets and everything. Of course,
That's
after this week, it's all gonna be put in boxes and all this is gonna go away because 'cause we're gonna be moving on if we get this place, you know?
go that fast?
Oh, yeah, I wanna be able to tell the people that we're living with, "Okay, just keep the deposit, we're out," you know? Be done with it, just move forward, I don't
Okay.
you know, as soon as we find the right place and that's been a challenge because in our area, I mean, there's lots of places for rent, but they're 2 bedrooms. I need a 4 bedroom,
I see.
and a lot of them are 2-floor kinds of places, and we need a single level house, at least with a primary bedroom on the 1st floor for her dad,
Right.
because he can't do stairs. So, we've
Mm,
got some, specific needs, so finding the right house has been such a challenge. And I wanna buy, but at this point, I don't wanna buy a place as big as the place that we're renting. I don't need 4 bedrooms forever, you know? Kelly and I wanna get a place, 5, 6, 7 acres and have our little two-bedroom house on it, and then our daughter and her son will get an ADU, a two-bedroom for them over there. Our other son that lives up in Truckee, if he ever decides he's done with the snow and the craziness up in Truckee, he's got a place here. Um, but, Kelly and I want that's, like, our goal. We've been married almost 31 years, and for the last 29 of it, we've had kids,
yep.
you know? It's like we wanna have just us now, just the 2 of us for this the last act of my life at least. I mean, Kelly's 14 years younger than me, so she'll probably, be here after I move on, after I shed my mortal coil and get rid of this,
Sure.
carbon-based plasma unit that I'm walking around with and pop into another one at some point. But,
I don't know.
you know
I
you
don't
know,
I really want another incarnation, man.
I as all I only hope that I can pick when I'm coming back again, like, I'd like to come back, say, in the 24th or 25th century, like the Star Trek period where everybody's fed and there isn't
Are you
greed
sure it works
and
in a linear manner? Maybe you can come back in, like, 1340.
right, and that's my other thing is I'm not sure it's linear. I mean, linear is just what we understand easily, but, you
I
know,
actually was gonna write a novel in which reincarnation worked backwards. We
it
move back in time instead of
w
forward.
one of the things I suspect about time is, well, first of all, time, it's so different. I mean, our understanding of time is so little. We have such short lifetimes and we base everything on 24 hours, 60 minutes, 12 months. And that's such a small scale of time when you look at, well, let's look at Earth time. We're talking billions of years, you know. Um, you know, we had a earthquake swarm in San Francisco this past week
Oh, did you?
where yeah, they had, like, something like 30 little tremors in the span of about 90 minutes, and does it indicate, "Oh, the big one's coming?" Well, sure, probably does. Is it gonna come next week? Is it gonna come next year? Probably not. It's a different scale of time. It's gonna be relatively soon, but that could be 500 years from now in Earth time. That's a minute, as far as the Earth is concerned, you
Sure.
know? So it it the scale of time is there. And then, well, let's leave the solar system and time becomes something totally different. There's no sun. Everything's based on just one star that we, spin around. What happens when that star is not there? Well, then time becomes something else, doesn't it? And then I think about other things, energy, light, they all move out in, different directions.
Right, from this photon standpoint, there is no time.
Right. And so maybe time works like that too. It isn't just straightforward. Maybe it goes off into different, and then we get into like multiverse and, the different time periods. And we come back and, oh shit, this is the 13th century. I hate this period, you know. But of course, that veil prevents us from remembering, at least clearly.
Supposedly, some people say so. I mean, you've got a lot of people who believe they remember past lives. Like,
Sure.
the retrogression that Stanislav Grof has people doing,
Hmm. Hmm.
holotropic breath work, he calls it. Are
Hmm.
you familiar with that one?
I vaguely, I mean, I've read articles. I haven't really studied it. Um,
Get the
but
books.
but it's
Right,
something that
right.
resonates with me.
Oh,
I don't know.
that's a good one. You
Personally, I
know,
don't know if I've been here before, but I have this thing about where I live right here, the psychonaut.
The Way of
Ah,
the Psychonaut, Stanislav Grof.
Okay.
D PhD. Yeah, 2 volumes.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I've gotta read them one of these days. I've also got his holotropic breath work somewhere, and his wife, his 2nd wife, I think, or maybe I don't know how many wives he's had actually, but the younger one,
Mhm.
she's written one called what's it called? Nope, not gonna remember.
Mm.
So it's out there too. She's written something that I have. And, I'm just fascinated by people investigating this stuff and trying to
Mhm.
figure it out
Mhm.
because I don't know.
Yeah, I
It
same
might be
here.
true.
That's my feeling. I wrote a short story once called "In a Previous Life, I Was a Frozen Dinner," and I
Oh,
imagined myself being
chili.
part of the Donner Party, and I was one of the people who died, and they ate me, and that explains why I've had this lifelong desire to come back to this area, and, I mean, Donner Peak is it's, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes from my house. It's where my son lives up in Truckee. It's
Wow.
just the other side of Donner Peak,
Yeah,
you
when
know?
I was working in Colonial Williamsburg, we used to walk from a parking lot back behind the Custis site through a little forested section that
Mhm.
ran next to the Colonial Parkway, and we called it the Donner Pass.
Mm.
After that
Yeah.
expedition, nobody ever got eaten there that I know of, but we
Well,
kept running joke about it.
mhm.
Here you are bringing it up, and you know what came to mind with your frozen dinner
Uh,
idea? I haven't thought about this in forever, and I wish I hadn't thought about it now. Do you remember the ZZ Top music video called TV Dinners?
no.
It's an early MTV.
Okay.
It's not great.
Uh, yeah.
It was, I think maybe just before Eliminator came out with Sharp Dressed Man and all those
Mhm.
things became very
Mhm.
popular,
Mhm.
or Legs, I think that was another one of theirs.
Mhm.
I like ZZ Top, but I didn't think free TV Dinners was really great, but
Mhm.
Frozen Dinner.
Mhm.
Because you were a member of the Donner Party that ended up getting eaten, and you managed to remember your past life.
Right. And I was one of what were they called? The Teamsters that helped the oxen and, get things over rivers and up
Right.
mountains. I was one of those people that helped the Donner Party. I wasn't one of the famous people of the Donner Party. I wasn't one of the
You're just
families
a random edible person.
that they hired, right, and, and I ended up getting frozen to death and, imagine this whole thing, and that's what drove me to be here now in this life. I had to finish that journey
Complete it.
that I right, you know
Fulfill your destiny.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Um,
How fascinating.
it is it true? Pff, I have no idea, probably not, but it was fun to think about, it was fun to look into, and I came up with a really good story about it?
I'll write up this story one of these days, and maybe I'll try to ping my old friend Susan, who I haven't talked to directly in a long time. We're connected on Facebook, but we haven't seen each other in life and
Mhm,
forever, as far as
mhm,
I know. But she grew up. She was the younger sister of a young man who was born just shortly after we moved into our neighborhood, and when I was 4 months old. So we had grown up together, the brother and I,
mhm.
and Susan came along, and she became a forensic archaeologist. And one of
Ah,
her claims to fame was in her home lab. She had a lab set up in her home.
mhm.
She had the remains of a girl who was cannibalized at Jamestown.
Ooh,
That
yeah,
that's an
yeah,
interesting one, because
yeah,
that's real too.
yeah,
It was a spooky thing, and being a forensic archaeologist, she'd actually done the work on the bones that showed
mhm.
tool marks of where this poor woman was, butchered.
Cut apart, yeah,
And
yeah,
they had to do that apparently because they were starving to death.
mhm,
And, I think there was a record there of a man who got hung for having killed, insulted his wife, and that may have been the one. I don't know. I'll have to go back and look at the details.
mm,
But, yeah, some horrific stuff happened right in my neighborhood, and
mm,
intergenerational trauma is transmitted through us.
mhm,
Have our generations have survived so much, and we have it so easy by comparison, even if we do have rough stuff to deal with.
mhm,
I mean, I guess I don't know if there's anything that would have killed you
mm,
outright if you had been born, like, 50 years or 100 years earlier or not in your
mhm,
lifetime,
mhm,
but I'm sure it would have killed me.
mhm,
96, I had a case of pneumonia. The doctors thought I was about 3 hours from being beyond recall,
right,
according to
right,
them.
right,
I don't know what they knew what they were talking about or not.
Sure.
Paul's joined us from Ohio, by the way, I just noticed.
Hi, Paul.
Had a breaking down the doors yet, but, hopefully people will catch up with us.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Okay. What's the next topic? What's
oh, I don't
the
know.
thing?
Yeah. Well, something that I should talk to you about. I'm working on this. The next episode is
Uh-huh,
about calibration and recalibration, about the ability to adapt to ever changing situations.
uh-huh.
You know, I I I value your perspective on that. I'm still
Thank you.
we've already started recording different parts of it, but the commentator, the role I play in it, which is like the narrator of the show, um, I don't like the intro, like how
Huh?
to set up the thing. I wrote something, but I haven't committed it to tape yet. Well, not tape. I haven't committed it to bits and bytes yet. Um,
Okay.
it just because it isn't saying it clearly enough to me. It isn't explaining adaptability well enough, and the word calibration doesn't even belong in a human vernacular, really, and it's
That's
machines
more
that
machines, yeah, that's the radio.
right. Yeah, exactly, but what is it that we do when, you know, the best laid plans go astray, does it wipe you out, or do you pivot and adapt and get around the problem,
Ability, yeah.
Uh,
Resilience.
we were just talking about the Donner Party. What happened to them? They had to adapt. They had no choice. They weren't gonna get over the summit because of the snowstorm, they ended up getting trapped there for months. It took them months just to rescue them, and they had no choice but, well, foraging and trapping, and luckily there was a lake right there, so they could do a little bit of fishing, but wintertime, you can't, We have this meat over here, and I mean, who knows? Somebody maybe was the Gordon Ramsay of cannibalism and made it taste really good, or, who knows? They adapt. That's what they did to survive, you know? Um, but, it's hard to find a lot of, like, I don't know, without it being self-helpy, like, I've read some things
Aha!
that yeah,
Yes, yes,
I
there's
just
so much of that, right?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
um I don't really feel like I'm saying what I need to say in the opening, the introduction to the episode,
Mhm.
and I'm rewriting it right now, so I've been thinking about that a lot, and like I said, I'd value your take on it for sure.
Well, the what you just hit upon about you don't want it to sound self-helpy.
Right.
Maybe that's the right angle to take. Maybe they
Mhm,
do an assault on that which you don't want it to be. Uh,
mhm,
it's really a tough one, though, because it's very hard not to become that which we resist.
mhm.
And maybe people do need enough help that
Yeah,
self-helpy is okay. I don't know.
yeah,
The long and short of it is I'll always go to "I don't know," and then try to figure it out from there. This is the way it
mhm,
seems to me, and it
mhm,
seems to me you're right that
mhm.
people want it to be that, but and we're really talking about resilience, adaptability is the word you used, I think. There's another
Resilience is excellent, yeah.
yeah, there's another word, and resilience is getting overused, though. There's so many
Mhm,
things being overloaded.
mhm,
Overdetermined, I think is the word they use. I think
mhm,
overdetermined might be overdetermined.
mhm.
So, performative is the one that's getting me,
Yeah, performative is all over the place now,
and
it's like,
and
oh
I hate it.
yeah.
I don't want I mean, that goes back to integrity, right? And
Mhm,
authenticity and being
mhm,
real and not being somebody who's trying to put somebody else on.
mhm,
'Cause I could give a hoot what somebody else really thinks of me in the
mhm,
long run, but that's not even true at some
mhm,
point because I do.
mhm,
Because I basically don't want to be seen at all
mhm,
as anything significant. I want people to pick up the ideas and do something with
mhm.
well, let's get back to the adaptability one, the resilience
Yeah.
thing, that that idea. If the theme for the whole thing, this 3rd one is
Mhm.
that the 3rd one?
Yeah, this the 3rd episode 3.
Be calling that adaptability or calibration or
Yeah,
well, there's another word, they use alignment a lot these days.
yeah, yeah,
I need a thesaurus.
yeah.
let's be as look at our thesaurus and throw it at the wall and then yeah, or
Yeah,
feed it into an AI and having it, spit back stuff at us until we find something we like. I
yeah,
That's the way I like to use AI,
mhm,
have it sort of take what I got, mash it up. I say,
mhm,
"Okay, write a novella based on Pynchon's style,"
mhm,
and then spit it back at me and see if I like it.
mhm,
Maybe I do, maybe I don't. I did like one,
mhm,
and I don't know if, many people have seen it. It's called The Map at the End of the World,
mhm,
and it's basically like a near future sort of library of Alexandria where they're trying to map the world's great books. You know that set from the Britannica and Company of the
mhm.
world Great Books of the Western World, it was called.
Right, right.
Map all of those against an axis of Melvillian and Pynchonian.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
Pynchon's got this paranoia going on of dystopia, and then you've got the Melville kinda symbolic big whale
big
quest
right. Yeah.
thing, this whole, you know, the force of nature and man's struggle against it.
Mhm,
I don't know.
mhm,
So I had it and then those factors were used to map, like, Shakespeare and whatever,
mhm,
all of
mhm,
Ovid, you name it. It was
mhm,
all over the map. And then there was another one for things that were breaking out of that and
mhm,
incommensurable
mhm.
with those 2 things. I don't know. So,
Lem
measurement maybe is the thing, what measuring degrees of adaptability? Go ahead.
Yeah. I was just gonna say maybe some of our the people here that joined us have some ideas. What does adaptability look like to you? What does it mean to be able to adjust to changing situations? How do is it your ability to exist or justify yourself in a shifting reality? It's like I'm open to ideas. Anybody. We do this in almost every episode. We do a thing where we go out and talk to people and ask them those questions. You know.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
remember if we get a lot of feedback or not. I can't tell if they're still listening to us.
well, part of the I tune into you and I'm not able to participate in the chat because I'm driving
Yeah,
or
sure.
something like that, or whatever. So I can't really I want to, it's like I'll like shout at the, "Hey, yeah, that's right," or whatever, but you don't
We can
hear
start
me.
writing in that little right message thing too.
Yeah.
Hello,
Hello. Yeah.
WH, Barbara, Delphina, IKN, Ann.
Yeah. Oh, I can set here.
There's some watchers, but they may not be watching anymore. It may
Right.
just be you and me talking. But to your there's you.
That's me.
But to your question,
Mhm.
how about thriving? What am I trying to do by adapting? I'm trying to get to the point where I can thrive in my environment and not feel under threat, where I can feel like I am in the groove, I'm in flow.
Mhm.
Use another overloaded term from our current
Right.
vernacular.
You're right.
I'm
Um
moving through the world, I think of the Sade song, Smooth Operator, right?
Mhm.
Moves in space with minimum waste and
Mhm.
maximum joy.
Mhm.
Maybe that's what we're looking for. We're looking for that joy after all. That was our campaign theme last time around, wasn't it?
Something like that. I don't really remember those 107 days,
You try to
but,
block it out.
um, that but then I wonder, is that what it's about, or is that the goal of what we're talking about is? You know? Um, I mean, yes, I wanna get to that state of bliss, that nirvana, my personal place, but before I get there, I need to, "Oh, I can't go over it. I can't go under it. I had to figure out a way around it." I have to assess and read the room or, what are my strengths to or what do I need to overcome my handicaps here, you know? And that's kind of what the subject is.
Mhm.
Um, the little scenes that we have in there, the Free River scenes where we have actors that come in and One is takes place in a community garden or indoor orchard, where the whole community participates in doing things, and they had some problems that they had to get around because this is their answer to feeding each other, sustaining each other, and how do we continue to do that under the circumstances? And then in the second scene, it's about a young man and a young woman, and they're talking about she wants to get out of Free River. She wants to go to Chicago and live a big life. And he's very content. He's going to stay in Free River forever. Sure, he'd like to visit Chicago or New York or someplace, but this is where he is. And she realizes that he's not her ticket out of town. They're not going to do this together. So how does she adapt to that? How does that change their relationship and what they're doing in that moment?
Yeah.
And it makes him realize that he is where he needs to be, but what does he need to do to make it better for her? Because he doesn't want her to leave. They have feelings for each other. They're young love. So, you know, and the episode is called Forget It, Jake. It's Free River, which I stole from that Robert Town screenplay, that Roman Polanski film. One of my favorites, Chinatown. That's the
Chinatown.
final. Yeah, that's the final line in Chinatown.
Mm,
Forget it, Jake. It's Chinatown. So it's sort of that idea. Just forget it, Jake. It's Free River. It's the way it is. Um,
hmm.
so I've got these two scenes in there that kind of work it out in a dramatic sort of way. And what I say in between is, I'm not sure, but we'll be doing, of course, and it happens every episode so far. We have a section of each show where we talk. I go to the library. I stand outside the farmer's market. I stop people on the street. And like this week, what does integrity mean to you? And got some great answers. Talk to
Okay.
people of different, I mean, I
Yeah,
talk to
you
people
pulled
who are
unity in, right.
right, and it, yeah, I talk to people from various parts of the political or social economical strata of things, so I got different answers, but you know what? They were all kind of the same too. They all circled around the same thing. And so part of the goal here is to kind of show people that this division of right and left, red and blue, isn't real
We
because
have
we all have the
to
same values. We all love our families. We all want to protect what is ours. We all want to feel safe and free. You know,
yeah,
and
this
that
is
has
oh,
nothing to do with politics, really. I mean, essentially, um, we all want to eat, you know?
we all want our children to have a good future,
Right.
and we
Right.
don't want them to suffer. I don't think so, anyway, most of us don't. I mean, maybe there are some bad parents out there.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
I always thought if I had kids, I would turn them out when they're about 16 because it would be character building.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's not really true, and I
No.
don't have kids, so thank God for that, for the
Mm.
kids that I don't
Yeah.
have. But this, symbol up behind my head here is a skull and lightning bolt.
Oh, yeah.
My
Steal
friend,
your face.
Denise Parent, who plays with Brown Eyed Women, and,
Mhm.
there's another Deadbeats, the Deadbeats, that was it.
Mhm.
She's a drummer. She said, it's like the dance floor. You get those people from the red and the blue, and you've got the 13-point lightning bolt between them, and we're all one thing."
Mhm.
And, John Perry Barlow, I like to tout quite a bit, and I try to get people to read, um, is or listen to for all the TED Talks he did and such.
Mhm.
Very big on this idea, and he was right wing.
Mhm.
Actually, he helped Dick Cheney get elected to
Mhm.
Congress, for God's
Mhm.
sakes. He didn't remain a huge Cheney fan when Cheney went with the MX missile program.
Mhm.
You're right, we have common ground, right? And then,
Mhm.
that MX missile program along with 1983's, The Day After, you remember that
Mhm.
BBC
Oh,
movie?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
That together sort of, like, shocked the system into realizing what we're doing here is insane,
Mhm.
but we're still doing it, and
Oh,
children
sure.
too. So as people of integrity, we've gotta look in the mirror at ourselves for all those things, whether we've been frozen dinners in the past or not. I mean, as
Right.
because that might be.
Mhm. Mhm.
We've got to center on the generational trauma, but when are we gonna stop and evaluate and then adapt?
Mhm.
Maybe
Mhm.
that's it. I don't know. How do you want
Mhm.
what do you got in mind?
Well, I don't have answers. I basically, my purpose is to ask the questions.
Yeah, what
Right.
questions are they?
And, I mean, like this last episode, integrity, is it how much integrity does a person have when they kind of turned a blind eye to the lack of integrity and its impact? I mean, we have, what's going on with the current administration. They don't seem to have very much integrity. They don't have very much. And what happens when integrity starts eroding at the top, the whole system eventually collapses. People don't trust what's going on, you know? And is that a good thing or a bad thing? Or do we call it out or not? And well, obviously calling it out is not gonna work with this current administration. They don't give a
Right, then why
about
should
that.
they care?
They
I mean, I
wipe
was
their
it out on NPR the other day when I was driving to my wife to get pick up my wife from work, that what's in it for him to actually pay any attention to what anybody says?
He doesn't care. And is he really the one who's got the power? I don't think so. He doesn't seem smart enough. He's a prop. He's a player. He's a reality TV star. It's the Reagan play all over
Kinda like
again,
a
but
comic.
right.
I was watching somebody suggested I watch a Man of the Year with Robin Williams, where
Mhm,
a stand-up comic gets elected
mhm,
president, but by a glitch in the voting machines. He's not really
mhm,
I couldn't
mhm.
watch it. I found it unwatchable. But,
Eh,
any um,
but then, look, taking that, okay, so fine. If the red team doesn't have much integrity,
that
how much integrity does the blue team have allowing it to happen? A
we
lot,
have to happen.
the
Collectively, I don't think we have colors. I
w
what we have is human beings have, collectively allowed what we have allowed, and we have personal responsibility for the world we are co-creating.
well, yeah, but at the same time, we're playing a game that the rules are rigged, that not everybody suffers the same penalty for breaking those rules. Just ask
Nope,
anybody in the Epstein class, right?
nope.
You
These
know?
guys, these blue-eyed white guys,
Uh-huh,
we're the problem. We've
uh-huh.
victimized everybody,
Oh, sure.
one level or another, and we've
You
been
know?
good at it for some our whole population of us have been and historically, I mean, long history,
Uh-huh.
been messing up everybody's world
Yeah.
and been getting away with it, and what the hell?
Mhm,
I mean I mean, I'm not taking responsibility personally that I did it, but my
mhm,
people of this particular
mhm,
physiognomy
mhm,
have played a tremendous role in the misery of the world,
mhm.
and I don't see that it's really been coming from anywhere else, from what I see. So how
Well,
will we fix that? How
yeah,
how can we make amends for that?
yeah.
How can we start doing things differently? And my thesis, to Philip, has been this idea that we need to realize that we human beings are incapable of governing ourselves. We need to build smarter machines to do it for us.
Y
And hardly anybody agrees with me on this,
yeah,
but that's
well,
where
I mean, I could see, machine-assisted guidance. I can't
yeah,
see them,
we're the creators.
right, and
So it will be an
machines fail.
extension, a tool we use, but we need to use it smartly.
But machines also are dependent on having energy. Okay, fine.
Well, they can
What
get out
happens when the grid fails? What happens when there are not enough
there.
resources to run that all,
They
Uh,
can robotically build nuclear power plants
well,
and
sure,
crack fusion.
sure, and they don't have to worry about poisoning the planet.
Maybe that might not be a bad that may be a proof that's why the alignment thing work matters so
Mhm,
much in that field. But getting to real world, the circus that's going on here in
mhm,
DC, I
mhm.
mean, Peace Forum, did you watch the Peace Forum at all? I didn't. I saw
No,
one picture, I couldn't look.
no, I don't, you know,
I
I don't
love peace, don't get me wrong.
oh, yeah, but the Board of Peace is a
A
board
board
of grift. it's another grift as far as I can tell,
Yeah,
as
and
far
the
as
whole Supreme Court thing that just came
yeah,
down about tariffs.
yeah,
WTF, man? How is this these how are these speeches leaving the I read the 31 quotes to my wife, from
mhm,
somebody on Substack had posted 31 takeaway quotes from that, and we were just laughing our rear ends off, but we're laughing.
mhm,
Probably ought to be horrified more than we're
mhm,
laughing.
mhm,
That's what shocks me so much is, how
mhm,
much we've got inured to a level of absurdity that would've been unthinkable when I was a kid.
mhm,
And when I was a kid,
absolutely,
though, the things that weren't unthinkable were things like the My Lai massacres.
mhm,
Um,
mhm.
you go,
Yeah. No, I mean, and I mean, of course, we're laughing because that's a defense mechanism, isn't it?
"It's
I mean, if
horrible."
I didn't laugh, I'd be crying,
Mm,
and if I'm crying, I'm not
we're
gonna be any
screaming
good,
screaming
you
in
know?
the void.
Yeah, and incidentally, humor has been one of the most effective tools against authoritarianism, you
I
know?
all of
It
the
wasn't
Marx Brothers recently.
Oh, yeah, I mean, just look at, like, Charlie Chaplin, perhaps one of the greatest comedic actors ever. It wasn't until he did The Dictator that America was ready to get into the war in Europe. I mean, that framed it in such a way that people, Mad Magazine called out the Red Scare and the McCarthyism and what was going on there and made it so absurd and ridiculous it broke down the walls. People were like, everybody is I'm communist, I'm I am Spartacus,
Right.
it's like, right? Uh, South Park is doing it now. Except the strange thing about South Park is when they started bashing on the Trump administration, it was exaggerated. Now they can just it's like reporting the news.
It's like
You Yeah.
the
And
end is really going out of business because they can't make up stuff that's crazier than what's happening.
You know, I why do you think they wanna take out the late night hosts, Stephen Colbert and Jimmy
Mm,
Kimmel, and, who on a nightly basis are poking fun at, Herr Leader there, you know, these are the people who are all about, your First Amendment rights, free speech,
right.
cancel culture. Their cancel culture is wrong, and what are they doing? They're canceling culture right before our eyes, Eh
Well, the Trump, Kennedy Center problem is really shocking.
Oh, sure.
Why they're gonna close it because nobody
Mhm.
will play it.
Why nobody will play it? Nobody wants to
They're
administer
gonna
it, you
do
know?
redo probably heavily guilt, and I'm like, "How do they get away with that?"
Yeah, well, they're
The
gonna bring
East
in WW wrestling and, it's gonna be a place for, mixed martial arts and shit like that. I
high
mean,
culture. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
In a way, I do see low culture and high culture split in a way that's kinda like the postmodern mashup of these things to be
Mhm,
somehow sometimes refreshing. I don't
mhm,
and I really do watch all of this stuff going by, and I'm, like, scratching my head going, "I'm confused. Are you
mhm,
confused?"
mhm.
And if we're all confused, how do we make sense of all of this so in a way that's actually gonna make us good ancestors to the next generation coming up? And what's going on with them? I mean, do you know? I mean, you've got kids, right? You
Yeah,
got youngsters
and
in
4, yeah,
what's happening
and
to them?
yeah, and 4 grandkids. Um, when you get confused, listen to the music play.
Oh, that's handy.
Mhm. Listen to the tunes, slow down. If you're getting confused, maybe you're trying to process it a little too quickly because that's the way it's handed. It's served up. It's nonstop. I mean, bad news, tragic news, fear, those get the clicks, those get the views. The slower
Are
things,
we
the
gonna get
real, that's the motivation. That's the fear cycle, the 24-hour news thing,
a few.
you know. Um, I mean, I remember when the news just came on twice a day
Right,
and
and
you
Eric
had your
commentated.
right, or it was, Walter Cronkite. I trusted that dude, I mean,
Yeah, Eric was on the same show.
right, you know? Yeah, um, but now it's a lot of rage. I mean, there's some smart people out there, talking heads talking about what's going on, but what they're talking about are are the fear triggers and why democracy is failing instead of what we need to do to protect democracy, you know?
Yeah,
We
and
don't need
that sells.
stern letters to the president objecting to the president 'cause he's gonna wipe his ass with that. It's like they they don't respond to that, and so what other ways can we respond, you know? I mean, our
I'm all for a
governor.
general strike.
Yeah, I am too. I think hit him in the pocketbook is a very, I think that more people should declare themselves sovereign citizens and refuse to pay their taxes, at least on the
It's
federal
I
taxes.
know somebody who did that.
Mhm.
Um,
I do
Future
too.
Man. You know
Who
Future Man?
No.
Future Man is, Roy Wooten, the drummer for the Wooten Brothers, and
Okay.
Bela Fleck and the Flecktones.
Yeah, 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 I know
He
them.
declared himself a
Yeah,
sovereign state
yeah.
and to refuse actually, I think it was sort of a Native American kind of thing,
Mhm,
and he also wears a traditional pirate kind of
mhm.
headgear, and they threw him in jail, I think, or they fined him heavily, and, he
Well,
had
of
to
course,
he had to come to
because
terms with it because the system basically cracked down on him for trying that stuff.
well, sure,
But it's
because
interesting that he
but
did it.
but but,
Really interesting, and he's also a great inventor. He's invented a musical instrument based on the periodic table.
Mhm,
I don't even
that's
know the name.
interesting.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
brilliant.
yeah, yeah.
And he's got this thing, I've forgotten what he calls it, like a Zentar or something. It does all kind of percussion sounds,
Mhm,
but it looks more like a guitar. It's got buttons all over it. Um, but anyway, getting
mhm,
back where you were about the idea of a sovereignty
mhm.
more.
Well, I mean, I don't know, I don't have answers, I ask questions, but my question is, why are we not hitting them what they seem to understand, it's not red or blue, it's green,
Yeah.
you know?
Yep.
It's a bunch of people, 805 families who wanna maintain their wealth, and
$800.
so if they don't have to pay their taxes, if they don't have to show their taxes, why should you or me? If the president can be the president with 34 felony convictions, but my friend Jem can't get a job at Dollar General because he's got a felony conviction for drunk driving 3 times and, you know,
Mm,
lost his license and now dude can't get a job because he's got this felony thing. He's a good guy. He had a drinking problem. He, thank goodness, didn't hurt anybody, didn't,
that's
you
good.
know,
I just met somebody.
didn't damage anything. I mean, he never even he just got stopped 3 times and blew
Sure.
over the legal limits. Didn't have a lot of money to pay, some attorney who can work the law and, make the deals or get in front of whatever judge is the best judge. He had to go with the PD, a public defender, and they're so overwhelmed, they were just like, "Take the plea," you know? And so he did, and now he's screwed. He can't get a job. He can work at the gas station,
He
that's it.
could Is he gonna run for president, though?
He couldn't win. If he wins, he could be president, evidently. It
Evidently. That's why I
evidently.
suggest that's his path. Maybe we should get behind him and
Yeah,
put him forward for, 2028 or
yeah.
when is it?
Well, eh,
28, right?
28, yeah, if there is. Um,
And that'd be great. If we made that happen,
yeah,
we're good.
yeah, yeah. Jim, the
I
gas
don't know if
station
you're the guy
attendant for
that did you
president.
ever see the 30 Rock episode where Steve Austin was being pushed by Alec Baldwin's character to be president? And
No,
he
I
knows
don't
all
watch a
these
lot of
things.
television, but I haven't seen
It
that
was
one,
it was
no.
amusing. It was worth the
Yeah,
price of admission because this
yeah,
guy was absolutely the complete boob,
mhm,
but Alec Baldwin decided that he was the guy to back for running for president.
mhm,
And, admittedly, it again is the idea that fiction is,
mhm.
like, hard to compare to reality because it's, more or less happened.
It's
Something
yeah,
like
it's not so absurd anymore, you know?
I really feel for all humans in all situations because I can understand, I can see something of that in myself. You remember Dylan's speech in which he said that he was, looking at the Lee Harvey Oswald situation, he saw something of Oswald in himself.
Mhm,
I
Yeah.
think we could all do that as an exercise, as kind of like maybe an experiment of trying to find the inner Donald Trump. And,
Mm.
I mean, mine's, I think, very tiny, but I
Mhm.
think it's in there somewhere.
Mhm.
But this petulant kind of man child, the
Mhm.
puer aeternus, if you will,
Mhm.
eternal boy. I mean, that's basically what we've got performing for us
Mhm.
in a way that's embarrassing, I think, to
Mhm.
most people, right? Or am I
Mhm.
wrong? Is it not embarrassing?
I'm terribly embarrassed about it.
Yeah, thank you. I
I
feel
had I
very
I had
encouraged by that.
I had to apologize to my Canadian friend the other day for what's going on, and I shouldn't have to, you know?
Well, I
Um,
understand that
I
the
didn't.
Canadians are being encouraged to arm themselves, but with US weapons.
Mhm.
And maybe they'll go to war with us then. We can have a battle.
Yeah,
I don't know. They were offered statehood and they turned us down, so
yeah, I you know, I don't know, looking for what part of me is anything like Trump. I've
very
got
hard
his
time.
hairline, I'm going bald like him, but I just don't wear toupees, maybe.
Well, let's see if we can get you on with that next time. See if you can find something to put on your head.
Yeah, yeah, I had a game we had a party last summer, and, it was pin the toupee on the president, and I had
Oh my
this
god.
picture of Trump without any hair, the gray
Nice.
hair, and I made, like, a little yellow things, and you had to pin it on we did it just like pin the donkey, pin the tail on the donkey kinda thing, and just it was a lot of fun. I mean, everybody had a great time, we had this big poster of Trump and, you know, it was a good it was a, kind of a not a fundraiser, but a morale party for the Indivisible group that I work with, so
Okay.
it's something for them, you
Individ
know? Yeah, you're familiar with Indivisible?
No, not yet.
Oh,
Rachel Casey is joined. I wanna say hi to Rachel, and I just to
hi,
mention
Rachel.
that people should check out Gary Huck. If you haven't heard of Gary, he's a cartoonist of some note, and
Mhm,
he's joined Substack, so check him out, Gary Huck.
okay,
Anyway,
okay.
go ahead. Tell me about Indivisible.
Indivisible is a national organization. It's been around since the first Trump administration. It was started by Rachel and Ezra Klein, I think is their
Oh,
name.
Ezra, okay, Indivisible.
Yeah, they're on Substack. Um, there are something like 300 and something individual indivisible chapters across the country. They are responsible for coordinating people, to take action,
Oh,
and action being everything from, of course, no kings or ice out protest kind of things
mhm,
to setting up mutual aid things, which is one of the things I'm involved with is building a mutual aid bartering kind of system here in Nevada County,
wonderful.
because the funds are being cut from the feds. Our state is, we're doing okay, but they don't funnel it enough, or they don't have enough to funnel. Um, and what happens when the grid goes down? Because that's bound to happen pretty soon too,
Well,
you
unless
know?
I can get my AI to manage it,
Yeah, there you go. Um,
optimize it.
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
but
you had it going down like crazy with the Enron thing, right?
pardon me?
When Enron was a thing, you had it going down all the time, right?
Yeah, yeah, you know, um, yeah, we have PG&E, we still have that. I mean, in fact, I had some, weekend guests, our friends that live, up
Mhm.
the hill a little bit, lost power, you know, which is something we're used to in the summertime, especially in the urban areas because there's too many people using air conditioners or whatever. But
Sure.
even here in the mountains, they turn off the power because the winds are getting high and they might knock over a pole and start a wildfire, which I mean, the last I think there's been 13 major wildfires in the last 10 years, and something like 8 or 9 of them were PG&E. Their fault, including
Right.
the Paradise
Oh,
Fire was completely on PG&E's shoulders. Of course, the county, which is a MAGA county, voted against doing anything for fire mitigation as far as the county. They didn't improve the roads so
you
people
didn't
couldn't
rake?
get out. Yeah, we
You're
didn't
supposed
rake
to
the
rake
forest.
first.
Oh, yeah, because that's the thing,
It's
Um,
terrible fire. Pam Wade is weighing in.
yeah,
So
I mean, it was. And we lived through I mean, we live further we're down the or, a little further south of, Paradise, but my wife at the time was managing a Dollar General. She ran like, had people buying water and diapers and all kinds of things that people clothes, and we had all kinds of people coming up from Paradise looking for places to stay up here. The fairgrounds over here, they turned the fairgrounds into, like, an open camping area for people,
yeah, yeah,
I helped deliver some of those things that my wife collected to other places,
wonderful.
Chico in particular, but,
Mhm.
you know, my point is, though, setting up mutual aid is important to do now.
Right.
It's duty now for the future, that Devo saying, "Duty now for the future." It's, you know, uh, kind of our way of dealing with that kind of thing. And the other thing that I'm very involved with is, I've got a project called Give Peace a Dance, where we use music and art and education, um, non-political aligned, nonpartisan, because music speaks to very many people. Obviously, you know, that side co-ops the music from this side all the time. You know, music speaks to people in a way that words don't, in a way that politics don't, the way that fashion doesn't.
Smack my knee sometimes when they adopt something that's coming off of a left-leaning liberal
Y
type or
yeah,
MAGA thing,
yeah.
and the
I mean, they were all about using
oh,
"Born in the USA," right? But now, no, he's toxic. We don't use his mu you know what I mean?
well, the
Um,
YMCA thing was the best.
oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's just tone deaf,
Yeah.
but, I don't know. I just hope
But
to adopt 21st century schizoid man, which I find to be quite prophetic.
yeah, it is, um, the 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 point I'm trying to make is, though,
Yes.
is take the politics out of it and just bring people together with the
Right.
elements that they're co-opting, that
Right.
they're weaponizing, one way or the other. Um,
We're one, but we're not the same, as you 2 once observed.
yeah, you know, but it is quite true, and actually being part of the Grateful Dead community, that's something that I learned, is that not everybody is a flaming liberal. I Some of my best friends are libertarians, and I
Very
traded
much.
tapes with them for years.
Yeah.
Um
But, the thing is all of us are trying to make our way from dawn to dusk as best we can and back again.
Mhm,
And as we're spinning around the sun, confused, traumatized primates.
mhm. Yeah,
That's what I
w
keep coming back to. Go ahead.
right, we're on this little ball that's going about 1,000 miles an hour or so.
Yeah,
As we
we're like
rotate around this unstable burning gas, this ball of burning gas, it's a miracle that we're on this wet rock at all.
and we ought to celebrate that with a Dionysian
Exactly,
frenzy.
exactly, you
Okay.
know,
Yeah, that's where
but
I wanted to go earlier, and I missed my
yeah.
boat.
But yet, well, if we did that, we would learn that we don't really need the the state like the way that the state is being used against us again, because this is nothing new in human history. It's the same playbook, it's yeah, okay, it's the second Gilded Age here, but it's not anything new under the sun, you
Yeah, I
know?
found this thing when I was just randomly as I was talking to one of my guests recently about, castaways.
Mhm,
This guy from Japan ended up being brought off of his island, he'd been on since, like, 1990 into
mhm,
regular society. He couldn't hack it,
mhm,
but he was too old really to go back permanently, but they did take him back to his island where he got a
mhm,
chance sort of to say goodbye to the whole thing, and they found where he had had his stuff stashed and things like that. Maybe they'll take him back there before he departs the earth permanently,
mhm,
but he was
mhm,
living as a in nature,
mhm,
and he was getting away with it for a long time. I forget
mhm.
exactly how long it was, like 30 years.
There's, there's a really good old film, well, old being relative, like, I think from late '80s, maybe early '90s, called The Gods Must Be Crazy. Are you
Yes,
familiar with?
exactly, I remember the Coke bottle.
Right, the Coke bottle that falls out of the sky, and the man trying to give it back to the gods and encounters modern society, and it blows his mind. He doesn't understand Why are people like that? Hi, Lee.
Yep. You know Lee Penman yet?
No, not yet.
Oh, you don't? Oh, well,
Not personally. I mean,
a Ramblin' Raconteur. That's
yeah.
his, Substack, and he's with Colette Nelson. I've had her as guest with him, and the
Mhm,
Colette's a nurse practitioner with a whole bunch of other letters behind her name, and
mhm,
Lee is a CEO or whatever, president of her company, gets things
mhm,
done for her. The Lee, the Lee. And he's in Manhattan a lot at Colette's place, or he's in
mm.
Jersey at his, and he's got a bird named Rico. Pico. Rico passed away and he got Pico.
Oh,
So,
okay.
we talk a lot.
Nice.
We
Yeah.
actually connected through Jessie Paris Smith, who's Patty Smith's daughter.
Okay.
We were both fans of theirs, and, Patty's very much, part of his world, and, so is Jessie.
Sierra, Sierra.
Yeah, this is a person who's joined me before in the past and often likes my stuff. Hi, how are you? I don't know how to pronounce or Sierra Sierra.
Yeah.
Sierra Sierra is not hard, but the first
No.
I don't know the pronunciation. But feel free to share it with us, Oder,
Mhm.
maybe? It looks like that's that D that they use in Denmark. Are you from Denmark or some Scandinavian country? They said hi. Oder.
Odor.
I would
Yeah. Odor. Nice.
like it.
Nice. Yeah.
Where were we? I lost
I
my
was here. I don't know where you were, man, but I was right
oh,
here. It's usually where I am
take
is
me back to
here.
where I'm also in the bunker here in DC. You're in, Nevada County, California,
Yeah. Yeah, the foothills of the Sierras.
the foothills of the Sierras, alright.
Yeah.
And that person is from the Ukraine. Welcome.
Ah, Ukraine.
Um, my wife is Ukrainian extraction. She
Mhm,
was born in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, however, has a
mhm.
mix of Polish, Serbian, Hungarian, Slovak, and Ukrainian.
There you go.
They mesh it up. You've been in Poland for 10 years. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I've had, some truck with, Solidarity in Poland back when I was in college. We guested a person from Solidarity at the Southeast Regional Conference of Amnesty International in New Orleans during
Nice.
spring break. We drove a little Volkswagen bus from Randolph-Macon College in Ashland, Virginia to New Orleans in one shot.
Fun. That's a
It
road
was
trip.
something else. And Pam is a Heinz 57 person, a huge
Yeah.
mix. Me too. My grandmother was a Magna Carta dame from Long Island, and she did her genealogy back so far I can trace my lineage from Odin himself.
Mm.
And we've got Richard Hogan, MD, PhD twice over, and Doctor of Business Administration, who has given us a link. Ukraine Needs Our Generosity by Richard Hogan, MD, PhD twice over, and Doctor of Business Administration. Generosity heals both giver and receiver. It is medicine for the soul. And that's what you were on about. I remember where we were. We were into the work you're doing there for the community.
Mhm. Yeah, but I mean, that's
Visible.
what I'm talking about. Indivisible is an organization that I partner with
Right.
to help get the word out. I've done things with and for them.
And I'm
Um,
sorry I first said indefensible.
yeah. No, we're against indefensible.
What do you think of Ezra Klein's book, Abundance? Have you seen that?
Yes,
What do you
yes.
I haven't read it. I don't know.
Uh, I thought it was a good read, it's, I call it pundit writing,
Yeah, he
and
was here doing a podcast at a Switch and Board, a podcast place I was thinking of doing my podcast from, but they
Mhm,
want $600 for an hour
mhm.
to
Yeah,
give me
that's
production values.
yeah.
I think are just fine, my production values, so
Yeah, no, it's nothing wrong with I think it's here's a buzzword, authentic, you know?
well, it's rough. I mean, the Patty Smith's my inspiration for it because she'll go live with her subscribers from her bedroom and
Mhm,
after washing her hair and read us Uncle Weekly.
mhm. Yeah. Actually, yesterday, I was thinking I might have to be doing this from bed because I felt so bad. I was like,
Oh,
"Well, I've got a hospital, like, table kinda thing that they have in the hospital,
See?
yeah, left over from when we took care of my mom, and I have one of those beds that has, like, the back comes up and it's a,
Oh,
kinda thing. And, I was like, "Oh, man, I'll have to do I'll have to do my interview with Hal from bed. I hope I don't have to," It
well, I'm glad you didn't have to. I'm
Yeah,
glad
me
you're feeling
too.
better.
Yeah,
Biopsy, I hope comes back good, and, as good
yeah,
expected.
it's just I'm expecting, the reality is they'll confirm that, I've got lupus is active in my kidneys now, and we'll we'll go accordingly, so I'll start taking some kinda low dose of something like losartan, or I can't take lisinopril is the other, they're blood pressure
Oh,
medications, but in baby doses, they're used to protect kidneys, as maybe Richard Hogan could, um, verify for me, but, that's the
yeah.
plan at least,
Yeah, if you have a
um,
background in autoimmune disease, we'd be
mm,
happy to hear about it. And,
yeah,
for that matter, Lee Penman, and if you know more about that, or have and I recommend tuning into Colette and Lee when they do
yeah,
the biohacking thing.
right,
Biohack,
right,
I think they call it. Um, so they may have information that might be not so current, currently available as the mainstream. Because
mhm,
as I understand it, what Colette is trying to do is to bring things that are not so mainstream to people who would otherwise not have access to them. Particularly some peptide things that I found interesting. I'm not convinced I want to go that route myself, but I've got things going on with my body too. As we get older, we get things. My father had diabetes, my grandmother, lots of diabetes in the family, and lots of diabetes in our culture generally,
mhm,
which may be avoidable through interventions that are appropriate.
mhm,
What else do we wanna talk about? That kept you a full 90 minutes, it looks like.
yeah,
Shall
hour
we wrap
31.
up?
I probably should. I've got, like I was saying, we have some guests that are staying with us,
Oh,
and
yeah, well,
I
I
wanna
don't wanna
see them
take
off
from
for
your
it.
guests.
Yeah, yeah, um
And there's a
definitely regenerate organs with some peptides. Interesting. Bathrobe guy.
yeah, bathrobe guy has joined us. He often
Yeah.
signs on with Meta, with the 2 T's, loving kindness. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah, the ACE inhibitors, and the other one is losartan, right? And Lee Penman just said.
We got another
Yeah,
question there. This is really getting moving here.
yeah,
Can't do ACE inhibitors either. Okay, you saw that one. And then we got, what would you publish if monetization didn't exist? That's a good wrap-up question for
yeah.
you.
I said I would publish exactly the same things that I've already published and more of the same. The you know, there you go, you know?
That's one.
Um,
I have others, but
yeah,
a good one.
you know, I don't monetize my Substack, for example, because I I value it. It's giving me something. I don't need the money from it. I like the quietness, the intimacy of this lane of my writing. I do write political things, but they don't belong on this platform for me. There's enough people talking political and I share them and amplify them and admire them and stuff like that. But I don't put that here for me. I publish the things that I don't need to get money for, because that the payment is their eyes reading what I'm writing, like the one I just wrote. The, one I posted on Thursday is, Two Men, One Ritual, talking about the mythopoetic experience that I had with the new warriors and stuff like that, and how that taught me a real lesson about integrity,
Mhm.
you know? So
And do catch The Long Wave Home, folks. That's, the podcast out there
mhm.
on Apple Podcasts, Acast as well?
Yeah, Acast, I don't really direct people there, but
Mm,
yeah, you can find it there, but it's just on,
Apple Podcasts mainly.
Apple Podcast
And on
only.
the radio,
Yeah,
there are different radio stations. You wanna name a few of the stations? So you
well, KBMR will be the first one, and we'll be debuting there in June, um, as well as, the KU KUC, University of California, Davis radio station. I don't remember their call letters, but
Still good.
same,
Before,
and
you know,
all of the radio stations want me to get, 6 or so episodes before they start airing it so that there's a catalog to draw from, not just waiting for the next one kind of thing. They've got already a library set up. So it works pretty good for me. It just takes the pressure off, you know, although there's pressure all, every month to get a new episode out. They each month drop the 21st. Once a month, we drop The Long Wave Home.
and we're starting to do a rhythm of every
On
22nd.
the 22nd.
Oh,
Yeah.
and,
Which kinda happened,
well,
serendipitously. It just kinda landed that way, you know? It's
one
okay.
did it once, we've done it twice. Maybe we'll do it
Yeah.
a third time in March. I'm gonna set it up, and if
Yeah.
we have to change it, then we can change it. Um,
I'll be there.
I'd love it. Richard Hogan has asked you also that he's listening, like Frasier, and he says, "May I know your daily routine, including nutrition?" You wanna give that?
Um, my daily routine, okay, well, it starts with first cup. It's a ritual I have. I go out in the morning, I sit at the round table. I usually have we put a kind of a blue light on, so it's very and I'm up every day between 5:30. I sit and have my coffee, no iPhones, no music, no television. I just listen to the morning. I call it, let myself arrive back in my body, And then when I'm ready for a refill, before I can have a refill, I have a rule of I've got to go into second gear, which is, I do some meditation and then I do some yoga stretching, like low impact yoga kind of things. And then I'll take a hot shower. And then I kinda move on with my day. As far as nutrition goes, I eat once a day at least, usually late afternoon is when I like to eat. I
Uh-huh.
may nosh in the morning or during the course of the day. I usually stop eating by about 8 o'clock. I don't eat anything of substance, and, I tend to eat whole foods. I'm fortunate because we grow a lot of our own food. I live in California where we get a lot of fresh vegetables all the time. We do a lot of farmers markets and places like that to get things. Um, I don't like I won't eat fast food. I won't even go to a fast food restaurant. Um, but I used to, when I was younger, but somewhere around in my 30s, all that started to change for me. So that's kind of my basic, um, daily routine, if you will. I get to bed most nights somewhere between 21 and 2300 to 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock. You know, sleep is very important to me. I value that. Sometimes elusive, though. You know.
Yeah, sometimes it is. I got up at 4:30 this morning, started writing
Yeah.
it the day before too, and I'm thinking, the muse wants me to write,
Yeah.
and I try to serve my muse, or my anima, who I
Mhm,
consider to be the goddess of chaos and strife
mhm.
and discord. And me, I'm very agreeable, but my shadow side, my anima side, oh, that's just really chaotic and, takes no prisoners. The, other thing that just sprang to mind is I wanted to thank everyone for joining today for one thing, we really appreciate it. We will
Yeah.
also have another podcast starting up at 3 o'clock. I've got
Yeah.
about 22 minutes. You've got guests.
Yeah. And
I'll let you go.
yeah,
Yeah.
sounds like a good plan. Thank you for having me. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Um, you know, subscribe to me, reach out, touch base. I love making connections. I love it.
So many joined at the tail end this time and are
Yeah,
missing all the stuff in the beginning, but there will be short clips. It'll be pushed on YouTube and all those lovely things.
yeah, yeah, for
So,
sure.
well, yeah,
Okay,
thank you
take
again.
care. Thank you very much.
Always a pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Take care. And where's the button? Oh, there's the button. Bye.
Bye.